Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the third episode of ISCL's Power Hour series, where we are introducing Power BI to the general audience and giving simple tutorials on various topics. The topic that we have today is create a date table. So it's a simple topic where we will show you how to properly structure a date table for all your reporting needs on Power BI. I am your host Fiscal, and with me is Ryan, who will be monitoring the chat. If you have any questions or comments, please free to type in the chat. Let us know. You can share the link with your friends, colleagues, family members, anyone who would be interested in learning Power BI and some data techniques. Feel free to do that. Okay, so a date table. Why do we need to know how to create a date table? Let me share my screen. All right. Ryan, is my screen display?
Yeah,
All right. Cool.
Power BI is up on both sides.
Okay, cool. So this is a simple sales report that we looked at in our first Power BI session. This video is uploaded to the channel, so you can feel free to take a look at that after this video. So we have a simple sales report. I can show you the data set that we have. We have a simple sales data set, so some order date, shipment dates, customers, countries, product information, sales amount, quantity, discount, profit. And we have a number of salespersons assigned to particular regions, right? So we can see that. Oops. All right, slight hiccup with sharing my screen there. Okay, so we have a simple sales report here, and as you can see, we have this bar chart here that is displaying sales information by the individual order dates. Now, if I were to right click on the x-axis of the graph, which is the order date, we have this option in Power BI, which is the date hierarchy. So we have this column order date, and what Power BI tries to do here is order or identify the date hierarchy that exists, but it is limited. As you can see, the only options you have are the year, quarter, month, and day. Right, so currently the first hierarchy we have here is displayed on the graph. So we can see sales by individual years. And if we click the double down arrow to go to the next hierarchy, which is quarter, it shows us quarters 1 to 4. If we go again, it shows us the months, January to December. And if we go again, it shows us the day of the month from 0 to 31. However, as you might have noticed, it is okay. This date hierarchy is okay if we are aggregating the data by year, because we have data for multiple years. I believe it's 2014 to 2017. You can see that displayed on the graph. However, if we go to any of the lower hierarchies, in particular quarter or month, all the data for all the years is being aggregated into these buckets. So when I look at January here, this is showing me all the data for January in all of the years that is in our data set, which isn't accurate or what we might want to be reporting on. We might want to see our data by month here. So we can see specific data for a month year period, right? That's the first benefit that we're going to look at when we are trying to create a date table. Also, we are going to expand on the options that are available. So we are not just limited to year, quarter, month, and day. And at the end of the video, we will also go into showing you how to manipulate your date table to try to cater for financial reporting such as fiscal year or fiscal quarter. In the case where in some organizations the fiscal year would not be matching the calendar year. So we will take a look at that. All right. So to start off with, now you could do a date table using some fancy DAX formulas on Power BI. I could show you a quick example of that. So if we go to we click on our table and we click on new table. All right, so it prompts us to type our DAX. So let's just name this DAX the table just for quick reference. And we could type calendar. And it gives us the option to create a list of dates between a particular start date and end date. So I could enter 2014, the first, right? So that's our start date, the beginning of 2014. And our end date could be 2020, the last month, last date, right? So this would generate a list of dates from the beginning of 2014 to the end of the current year, which is 2020. I click enter. We wait for the it has already finished. And if I click on the data view and I click on my DAX date table, we will see a list of dates were generated as per our instruction. However, this is just a simple demo since we have not dived into DAX on this series yet. We would like to keep it simple for the average user who probably has a list of dates in Excel, and we're going to show you how simple it is to do in Power Query using the interface of the Power Query or Power BI. Right, so let's just delete this.
And then most of our users, since they would already be familiar with Excel, the Power Query would seem like a natural progression and somewhat familiar.
Yep, that's a great point. All right, so I'm gonna show you. So I have an Excel file here that we are using for the data set, and I added a column, a sheet. So a sheet would be represented as a new table in Power BI, and I have named this column date key, and I have generated a list of dates from the beginning of 2014 all the way down to somewhere around July 2020. So enough dates in our date table to cover this tutorial, right? So once you have done that, we would go to your Power BI file and click on Get Data. click on Excel. And here we have our data set where our date sheet is. So we can click on that. Right, and we could wait for that to load in. Okay, so here it prompts us to import the data. We already have the orders information and salesperson information imported in our Power BI file. The only addition here is the dates. So we click on the checkbox and we click load. Right, but this would just load in a single column of dates in our Power BI table. So to begin the manipulation, just give this a minute to load. Now feel free to stop us, ask questions, anything that isn't clear to you guys, let us know in the comments. If we aren't able to answer it at the moment, we would answer it at the end of the session or in our future session, right? Okay, so we have our ddates table loaded. What we want to do is we go to transform data, click on the drop down and click on transform data. All right. Now that opens up the Power Query editor window. All right, Ryan, is that showing on my display?
Yes, it is. It's on your display and on YouTube.
All right, good. All right, so here we have the tables that are present in our data set, the orders, salesperson, and ddates. But as we can see, it's just a single column. So how do we go about building out this entire complicated data table? Not complicated, but it is going to allow us to report on our data in a lot of ways that gives us options and creativity, right? So the first thing that we're going to do is a lot of duplicating tables. So the process, we would duplicate the initial column and then we will transform that into what we want it to be, right? So very simple. The first thing we're going to do is a duplicate. So I'm just going to show you how to do that. Right click on the column and you will see duplicate column. Click on that and boom, right? We have our first duplicated column, and the next big step is to right click our duplicated column and go to transform, and here is where the magic happens. It gives us the option how we want to transform this. So we're gonna start with the lowest level, which is the day, and what we really want to extract from this column is the name of the day. And just like that, we have the name of the day corresponding for every single date in our date table, right? So that's how cool this tool is. And we could also double click on the header and we could rename our columns appropriately. So this is name of day, right? Very simple. Now the other steps involved in this tutorial is basically duplicating the date key column and extracting what we want from it. So I'm just going to go over some of the common ones that you should include in your date table. So we have name of day. Ryan, any input from you here?
Well, so just as a reminder, this is one option that people can do. They can also They can also do it in Excel if they're more comfortable, but since the goal is to promote Power BI, we will do everything within Power BI. And another option, instead of duplicating the columns, they could always do a calculated column.
Yeah, I agree. And we would probably demonstrate that in another video sometime, right? But like we say, we trying to keep it a bit low tech for the average or even the beginning user. So I think this method would translate well to those. What do you think?
I completely agree.
Right?
It's the simplest.
Yeah, so Power Query, duplicating, transforming, using the graphical interface, so you don't really have to do much code or formulas. I think a lot of people would appreciate that. Okay, so let's duplicate this a bit more and let's see what we get. So duplicate column, and here we want to extract the week of the year. So there are 52 weeks in the year, and we want to know the week number. So week of year, click that, and magic. Right, so we name this week of year. All right, some more popular ones that we need to use. Duplicate column again, and we transforming this one to give us the month, right? And you would notice here that it gives us the month number, so a number from 1 to 12 indicating what month that date is in, right? So let's just name this month number. All right, moving along, we would also want to associate that month with the name of the month. So again, we duplicate our date key column, we transform the column, so we go to name of month, and really simple, let's call this month name long. And I named it month name long because usually when we're reporting and we representing months, we just want the first three letters of the month. How do we do this in Power BI? It's a simple transformation. We can duplicate the month name column, and from here we can transform, and then we can extract first characters, and we want the first three characters of every month name. Click OK, and it gives us a nice neat short month name. Right, so we can name this appropriately, month name short. Right, good. Any questions so far on chat? Anything you want to add there, Ryan? I know it's a lot of duplicating and transforming, but that's how simple it is to create a table.
Yeah, it's very simple. The only way this could be any more simple is if there's, duplicate column 10 times, but unfortunately not.
Right. All right, cool. Let's try to finish this out. Let's duplicate again, and we're going to get here. We want to transform into the quarter, so it gives us a number for the quarter of the year, so a value from 1 to 4. If we wanted to have a proper name for the quarters, we can do add column, add conditional column, and here we could write a little logic. So let's name the column quarter name, and if the quarter column is equal to 1, then we want to see Q1, and we're just going to add a bunch of these statements. So if it's quarter 2, we want to see the label Q2. And we're going to finish this off with the fourth quarter, Q4. Right, and we click OK. And we have a nice quarter name for our reporting. Right, so we would not see 1, 2, 3, 4. That might be confusing at times. So Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4, much better for reporting. Right, now the last thing we want to add here would be the year. So again, date key, duplicate, and transform into year. Just like that. Alright, cool. Alright, so now getting into some more complicated columns that we said we want to use. One of the key ones is the month year column. Now how we would do that is we would merge two columns. So what columns are we merging? We are merging the month name short and the year columns. So to begin, we highlight month name short, and holding Control key on our keyboard, we select the year column as well. So both are highlighted. And then we select merge columns. Right? If we want, we can add a separator. So if you wanted to add a dash between them, that is fine. And we need to give our new column a name. So let's call this month year. Click OK. And here you can see our new column, month year. Right? Any comments there, Ryan? I think you would agree that we use month year for maybe 75% of our reports.
Yeah, for sure, because it's always, simpler, and well, not simpler, it's always good to analyze things when you aggregate by month.
Yeah.
And just as a reminder to those who probably wouldn't have remembered from the first video, all these steps that Fuzzle currently doing, Power BI will save these steps and will repeat them for every new date key that we add.
Yeah. So you could run us, right? So if we go back to our Excel dataset file, and we decided to add another 1,000 rows to our date table here, you just need to go back on Power BI and hit a refresh, and it would run through these exact steps that we have done and update it in your Power BI file. So you don't need to go back and do this ever again. You could do this once and that's it. Really simple. Right, so at this point, let's pause on the date table creation and demonstrate this to you guys on the report. So first thing you want to do is go back to the home tab, and click on close and apply. Right, so it's applying the changes to our Power BI file, and I think it is done. Right, so firstly, we could take a look at our date table in the data view. So you can see quite neat. Right, and another key aspect. So since we are no longer using the order date on the fact table, we will be using our ddates, which is a dimension, and we will go more into that when we discuss model creation and data modeling. But for now, we need to understand that we need to link the order date to the date key of our date table. Right? Once that relationship is created, we can go back to our reports and let us open a new page and add a bar chart. Right, so the value that we are going to report on is the same sales, so we pull that into the value. On our axis, instead of using what we did before, which is order date, we are going to go to our date table that we have created, and we are going to pull in date key, and this gives us the same effect as if we were using the order date column on the data set. But however, we have some more columns now. Let me just expand this. Oops. We have some more columns now that we can use for our reporting. Right? So we can directly pull in any one of our columns. So if we wanted to see sales by year, if we wanted to see sales by quarter, or if we wanted to see sales by month year. So this is the one that we are most interested in. Right now you will notice, let's check the sorting here. We want to sort by month year, and we want to sort in ascending order. Let's also add a filter for the year. And let's make this a list. Right? So looking at the entire data set here, or even if we click on a particular year, you will notice that the month year column is not sorted in the chronological order. And that is something that we need to address on our date table. Alright, because the month year column is a text field basically, there's no way to order it in chronological order. We need to create a measured column that is a numeral and use that to sort the month year column. Right? Ryan, you have anything to add on that?
No, not at this point in time, but yeah.
Before we do that, let me just add a card value. so we can get the whole picture. And we want to see total sales. Alright, cool. So if we filter by a particular year, right, so we get in, our graph is working, that is the total sales for 2017 or 2016. Our axis is nice, we have month year. The only thing that we need to correct here is the ordering of the month year in chronological order. Right, so how do we do that? There's a few tricks we can show you. Alright, so the first thing that you want to do is we want to go back to transform data and click on transform data. Alright, then we go to our dates table, and the first thing that we need to address, so we're going to create a year month column with numerals and a month year column with numerals. But the first thing that we need to address is the column month number. We have numbers 1 to 12. However, we need this to have a leading 0, right? We need to have it as a 2-digit number. So how do we do that? First, let us add a column. And the column that we're going to add is a custom column. Right, let's name this month number adjusted. And we have this formula here, which I will paste and show you guys. Right, so alright, let me just correct it and then I'll explain what it does. Alright, so TextureHardStart is basically a function in the Power Query where it would check the month number, so the numbers from 1 to 12, and we're indicating that we want the length to be 2 digits. And if those digits are a single, it would add a leading 0. So really simple. Also, if you start typing this formula, it would tell you what it does. So you can hover on it and get context for how to use it. Right? We will post this in the description if you guys want to use it as well. Right? So let's click OK. Oops. Alright, we need to fix something here. Okay, I think it's a data type issue. So let's go to month number. Let's just duplicate this. Let's call this month number text. And we will change the data type. So on the left of the header, if we click that, we can see right now it's a whole number, and we want to change that to a text, right? And then we can go to custom column and we can try adding back our column. So let's call this month number adjusted. Our formula, we want 2 digits, and our column that we're using is month number text. Let's click OK. Aha. Right, so all we needed to do was duplicate the month number column and change its data type from a numeral to a text so that it could pad the text with the 0. Right, so it's just a trick or workaround that you can use. So we have our month column, and it's all 2 digits with a leading 0 in the numbers less than 10. Right, so now we can proceed with creating our numeral columns for year month and month year. How do we do that? Right. So the first thing we want to do is month year. So just as we did before with our merge column, we're gonna highlight the month number adjusted, and we're gonna highlight the year, and we're gonna click on merge columns.
Would we have to convert the year column to a text as well, or no?
No, I don't think you would need to.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so let's try this. Merge columns. We don't want any separator, so we leave it as none, and we will call this month, year. All right, should be fine. Click OK. Let's see what we got. All right. Right, so it has worked. We got our month year numeric column, and we want to change this data type to a whole number. Right, just so we don't have any issues later on. And the last step here is to create the year month numeric column. So let's select year first, and then we will select month number adjusted. Click on merge columns. Again, we don't want any separator, and we will name this year, month. All right, click OK. See what we got, and we have our column. Again, let's change this data type to a whole number so we don't have any issues later on. And I think we have completed the first step in ensuring our month year column works. So let's click on close and apply. All right, let's give that a few seconds to load in. Right, cool. No, Ryan, you said that this is the first time you're seeing this method as well, right?
Yes, I am. Usually, I would
You
do
would
my
usually do it in SQL, right?
SQL. I'm a big SQL fan.
Right, cool.
But it's always interesting to see that there's always so many different ways you can get the same thing done, regardless of your skill set.
Yeah, agreed. So for those that might not be enthusiasts of SQL or have a lot of experience, this is a great way for them to be able to do it. All right, so what we have, we're still seeing that our our dates are not ordered properly. So the last step would be to sort our month year. So click on the month year column on the side here. And once it's highlighted, you'll notice this tab shows up, column tools. And this is what we're interested in, sort by column. So this gives us the option to sort one column in your data set by another column. Right now, this is going to help us sort the month year column into a chronological order. So if we click on the drop down, it gives us a list of the other columns in that same table, and we want to sort by a particular column. I believe the column that we should be sorting by is the year month, Ryan.
I believe so as well too.
All right, so let's try that. Let's click on year month. Give it a second. Aha. What can we see here?
No, that looks right to me.
That looks right to me as well, right? So, like magic, as soon as we sort our month year column by the year month column, we can see that our graph is displaying our axis in a chronological order. January 2016 all the way through to December 2016.
Now,
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to add that for some of you might wonder why we couldn't just sort the column by the date key column. And we were not able to do that since for each month year value would have a date key for each day of the month. So, all that would have caused a conflict. So hence why we needed to create the year month column to avoid that conflict.
Definitely. That's some good context. All right, cool. So, and if we were to remove the year filter, we can see month year values for all of our months in the entire data set, and it is arranged in chronological order. So really beneficial. I think that's the main feature that we use a date table for. Now the other aspect is we would introduce it a bit because time running a bit short, which is the financial reporting. So two simple things. You might want to add, so if your organization's financial year does not align with the calendar year, you might want to create a date columns for your fiscal year or your fiscal quarter. So we're going to try to show you guys that before we end. All right, so the first step that I would do is we would go back to transform data. Right, give that a second. Right now, all of this could be done in DAX, which is it's data analysis expressions in Power BI. But however, since we are starting this tutorial from the beginner level, it is good to know these techniques. All right. So the first thing we're going to do here is add a parameter. So you would see on the Power Query we have manage parameters, and we want to add a new parameter. Right? We're going to call this, so for the purposes of this demo or exercise, we are going to assume that this organization fiscal year starts in October, right? Brian, you good with that?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
All right, so let's say start of fiscal year, or we could say start of first fiscal month. Right? It is a required parameter. Let's say decimal, or we could do whole number. And we're gonna set this value to 10. Why 10? 10 is the month number that corresponds with October. Good?
I thought was your favorite number.
Well, it is one of my favorite numbers, but yeah. All right, cool. So we start with 10 because it corresponds to the month of October, right? So this parameter is basically setting our fiscal year to start in October. Let's click OK. And we see our parameter has been created, and we're not going to touch this again for the rest of the demo. Let's go back to dates. And we want to create a custom. So let's go on add column. And we want to add a custom column. Right, let's wait for that prompt. All right. And we want to name this fiscal year. Now I have a simple formula here that we're going to use to create this custom column. I hope you guys can follow along with me. We'll try to explain it as best as possible. Alright, Ryan, I know this might be new to you as well. Well, first time seeing me do it like this, so
Yeah.
let me know your thoughts on it. Alright, so let's change the swappers up. Alright, alright, check that out. So if month is more than or equal to our parameter, which is the first fiscal month, which is 10. If month is more than or equal to 10, then year plus 1, else year. So basically, once the month is less than 10, it's going to show the same year as the calendar year. And if it's more than 10, it's going to add 1 to the current year to display it as the fiscal year. Let me know how you feel about that.
The logic makes sense to me. Like you said, it's the first time I'm doing it this way, so I place all my trust in you.
All right, cool. That's cool. All right, so you guys could try it as well. Let me know how it works for you. So we're just gonna click OK here, and I'm getting an error. All right, so we need to check this. It might be a reference error. So the column is month number. Let's see if we can fix that. So month number. Try that. All right, great. So yep, just a bit of a syntax error there on my formula. We needed to reference the month column. So the name of that column was month number. So, right, show you how to troubleshoot that really quickly. So here we can see the fiscal year, and it's 2014. And let's just take a look here. Yeah. So if we, just for reference, if we keep looking at the fiscal year column and the month, this month here column, we could see that once we reach the 10th month in 2014, the fiscal year is showing as 2015, which is quite accurate, right? So this proves that it does work, right? And we could go to home, we could click close and apply. And now let's add a slicer as soon as the model loads. All right. All right, let's add a slicer. Let's put it at the bottom here. And let's pull in fiscal year for our slicer filter. So on the left, we have the calendar year as a filter. And on the right, we have the fiscal year as a filter. We're gonna select a year. Ryan, pick a year.
2016.
All right. Look at that. So we have created a column for fiscal year, and when we filter our data by a fiscal year, we can see that the data extends from the start of the fiscal year, which we defined as the 10th month, which is October, to the end of the fiscal year, which is the ending of September. So really cool idea. What's your thoughts on that, Ryan?
It's cool. If this doesn't satisfy your reporting needs, I'm not sure what will, because I know most companies, their financial year doesn't coincide with the calendar year.
Agreed, and yeah, we had a lot of experience with that, and we needed to learn how to deal with the fiscal years and fiscal periods implementation. Right. We're just gonna do one more thing, and then we will wrap up this video. Thank you guys for watching. Those of you who joined. Yeah, any questions or comments? If you guys gonna use this, let us know in the chat. Yeah. All right. So
yeah, a user pointed out that, as we said, it's a common solution. There's a solution to a common reporting problem.
yeah, exactly.
I also just want to comment, that some people, they might think, the title of the video, a date table, might sound kind of boring, but, it's a key element in creating dashboards, and it's starting to dip your toe in the pool of data modeling.
Yeah. All right. So the last bit that we want to show you guys is the fiscal quarter. So let's go back to our Power Query. And our date table again, and similar to fiscal year, we're going to create add column, custom column, and we're going to insert a function that I have. Let's call this fiscal month or fiscal period. So fiscal period. And we're gonna paste my formula and adjust it. So our month column is month name. And this parameter is the first fiscal month. And I have a challenge. Ryan, you want to take a crack at what this does? What do you think?
If I have to guess, it should. Alright, I'm not really sure. You have to tell me.
Alright, cool. Alright, so this checks the month name column against our parameter, the first fiscal month, which is the 10th, which is October. And if it is over 10, it subtracts this value here. So first fiscal month minus 1. So in this case, we use in October. So minus 1, that's 9. Else, it adds this value, right? So basically what this is going to do is going to check each month, and then it's going to, in the fiscal year, it's going to split it out into 12 parts corresponding to fiscal periods or fiscal months, right? So you could play around with it, try to see if you could use it in other cases. So, but just for the purposes of this demo, I'm going to show you guys, and we'll click OK. Oops. Let's check this. This fiscal month. Oh, it's month number. Sorry, guys. So month number. We were trying to add numbers to text. So, right, simple errors to debug. Click OK, and that should fix our problem. So this has just divided up our fiscal year into onto 12 fiscal periods, and from this we're going to build into the fiscal quarter. How we do that? First thing we want to do is go to the standard mathematical operations, perform a divide. Since this is 12 fiscal periods and we want to do fiscal quarter, so we want 4 buckets, so we need to divide by 3. And we just want to round up on this division. Oh, sorry, round in, round up. And we could call this our fiscal quarter. That's it. Go back to home, close on apply. Right. And now we have fiscal quarter. We could add a filter. And we could pull in our fiscal quarter. Let's change this to a list. Right, so if I wanted to see the Q1, we get October, November, December, Q3, right? So really simple. I hope this video helps you guys, this tutorial. Any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the chat. If you're watching this after the live session, please feel free to leave comments or suggestions for future videos. We do review the comments, and we will take it into consideration. Any feedback you have for these sessions, so we can make it more exciting or engaging, feel free to reach out. So for now, thank you guys for joining us, and we hope you guys will join us for the next session. We do Power Hour every Wednesday from 2:30 to 3:30 Eastern Standard Time. Join us and we will have some fun with Power BI and all things data. Thank you for joining us. Ryan, you have any closing remarks?
Just want to say, thanks for joining us and embarking on this journey on discovering Power BI with us.
Yeah, so look out on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We will be posting our next topic before the week is out. So stay tuned for that, and we will see you guys soon. Thanks for joining. Bye.